crunch, bring it back, single leg swing. Let me teach you how to wrestle. Okay. Let me teach you how to wrestle. Hit the
Olympics.
I've been good, thanks. Yeah, just getting back in the swing of things and getting ready. There's still a lot going on, right? We had U17s, U20s are starting. I think they started today with the Greco, and then we have our senior world team trials coming up for the non-Olympic weights in about 10 days, 12 days, and so that's where I'm at right now at practice, just getting ready for that.
You guys just finished up a workout?
Just actually, they're in it right now while we speak. But I got someone else covering for a little bit. And then we have our U23 Worlds as well. So there's still a little bit left until kind of the end of the competition season for us. But it was a good summer.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's. I guess first start off with talking about going into the Olympics, the approach, the preparation. How did everyone feel? What were your thoughts going in? And then I guess we could go weight by weight.
Well, yeah, no, I thought the preparation was good. It looked a little bit different, felt a little bit different. We had the trials were in April, and after the trials in April, the next I think we had a week off, and then the following week we had our first camp. Here in Colorado Springs. So we had a camp in April. We had a camp at the end of May out in Pennsylvania. We had a camp at the end of June here in Colorado Springs. And then again at the beginning of July, after the 4th of July, we came back in for camp. And then we had about a week off, and then we left for acclimation camp over in Paris, or over in France. And so we had 4 camps domestically before we left for the Olympic Games, and then in between the camps we did something a little bit different this year. We sent national team athletes and workout partners out to each one of the Olympians with them and their personal coach, and just made sure they had what they needed in preparation, and just kind of guided them through a training plan that we had set, but gave them some autonomy to change things up as they felt they needed to. And you just never know. Going in, I don't know how comfortable I was, because we never saw everyone a ton, but we came together 4 times, saw them enough to keep them, I think, on track, and then put the trust into their workout partners and their personal coaches, and what their feel was as elite athletes, and to do what they needed to get done. And so you never quite know how that's going to work, but obviously I think they came in very well prepared and ready to perform at the right time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If there was anything that you felt like was better in terms of the preparation, or maybe less optimal, and how you would approach it next time, similar or different. I know it's tough. You're still evaluating everything, but yeah. Any thoughts like that?
Well, I think the one thing I've learned over time in coaching elite level athletes is you have to give them some say in what's going on, and just coming in and dictating what's happening on a day-to-day basis just doesn't work with the elite athlete. And I think it may be right for a U17 or U20 team, but when you're dealing with the Olympic team or the world team at the elite level, I think you have to give them a little bit more say in what's happening on a day-to-day basis and how their feelings are, because you can't write a perfect workout for every person, right? And everyone has different needs and different desires, so you have to give to that and let them be a part of the planning process. And I think there's what am I trying to say? That you have to have some trust there, right? Yes. And some faith in that these athletes are where they're at because of who they are and the decisions they've made along the way, and you don't have as much control as maybe you'd like to have, but I've found that over time that's the American athlete, right? And to work with the elite level athlete in America, you have to give some autonomy to them and let them be a part of it and of the process along the way, and not just tell them what you want, right? And so I think I've learned that over time, and I think for this squad anyways, for this competition, it worked well, and I think we went in very well prepared and just, I think, happy, right? I mean, just enjoying the process, and that's such a big part of it, right? Is enjoying the day-to-day, and I think that because of that, because we went in with good energy and feeling really good about how we were doing things, and maybe being closer to home and the things we were comfortable with for more time during the summer than maybe they're used to, I think it paid off, and I'm happy for that, right? It all comes down to that, if we can get the result we want, it doesn't matter how we get there, right? Let's find a way that we can all agree on and find a way to get the job done.
Yeah, and that's a great point that you were saying too before about how you have to look at, like, in our culture, this is what the American elite athletes need. Like, we always, we like to look at what are they doing overseas, but remember, they're different cultures also. So it's like you take what you can from them, you learn what you can, but you can't, and obviously they're learning from us too, but we have a certain culture in America that you have to work with if you're trying to appeal to them and get the best out of them. You can't, it's not, in other words, not a cookie cutter approach across the world, no matter who's doing what.
Right, and I think that's such a big point, I think, is because I think as coaches, you want everything to look neat and tidy, right? You want that practice plan to look the same and look pretty. That it's a very black and white thing, and that's just not how we operate, right? That's not how we operate as an American culture. It's not how we operate as elite athletes. We're all different, and we all have different needs and things like that. So I think that to be okay with that and to understand that, we can still all be on the same page, right? But we still within that page, we have different things that we have to address, right, with each athlete, and that practice is probably going to look a little bit different for each one of us, and so I think that's what I've learned over time is just you got to give that freedom, right, to the athletes and the personal coaches that come in, right? Because I bring one perspective, right, and every coach that comes in brings another perspective, right, and a lot of times it's not one or the other isn't wrong. It's just working together and being unified in one approach as we go forward with each athlete. And I thought that our team behind the team that I've talked about a lot, the personal coaches and the workout partners with each Olympian, I think they did a phenomenal job of getting to the needs of the athlete, right, of the Olympian, and making sure that they were taken care of, whether it was technically or tactically, whether it was emotionally, or psychologically. I mean, they got to the needs of the individual Olympian and made sure they were getting what they needed, and that came through with results.
Yeah, and like you said, freedom is not the same as free for all, right? Like there's a method to the madness, and a great coach is a great CEO, and knowing, okay, when where do I place the freedom, where do I pull it back, and it's an art, right? It's a science, but it's also an art. Like you have to, your instincts get honed over time, and obviously, you've been doing such a great job with Team USA, really being a staple in America and of course across the world. Everyone's seeing the great things you do. I know they're around the world. They're looking at what is USA wrestling, women's wrestling doing. So it's great. Coach, take us through the different weights, so one at a time, and your reflections on them.
Okay, well, let's just go through it as they wrestled in Paris. So Amit Elor started us off. I thought, Amit definitely just a generational talent and someone that is very, for her age at 20 years old, to be as just steadfast as she is and confident as she is in her own mind is really impressive, right? And then I think the important thing is knowing that she's 20 years old. That there's still some shortfalls there. That being 20 years old, there's still some things that needed to be learned and needed to be focused in on, and so having Sarah McMahon as her personal coach, I think was a really great thing, because Sarah's a great communicator, right? She's very articulate. She's been there, done that, and she understands the obstacles along the way, right, during preparation and things like that. So I really think that she just did a really good job of keeping Amit focused on the things that were important, right, and she went in and just. Her focus was 100% on Amit Elor and what she needed to do to get her hand raised, and being very aware of her opponent's tendencies and tactics, and I thought that Amit went in very well prepared, and I give a lot of credit to most credit to Amit. She's the talent, but a lot of credit to Coach Sarah McMahon, and Macy Kilty was her workout partner. So, together they really had her ready to perform, and, Amit went out and did what she does and just went straight forward into people, and she keeps so much pressure in those matches that, she just shuts people down, and people are asking, like, she's not a flashy wrestler. She's just very straightforward, and it's not a high-flying type thing or anything like that. It's very good defense, very good positioning, using the edge of the mat, and but the surefire way to win wrestling matches is not get scored on, and I think Amit's the best at that. How does she win a lot of wrestling matches? Nobody scores on her, right? I mean, nobody scores points. It's very hard to score on her, and she came through, and our youngest ever Olympic champion in American history, and
That's awesome.
It's just the beginning for her, right?
Oh yeah. That was great. How did she feel like she wrestled performance-wise? Of course, she's pumped to win the gold. How did she feel?
I think she did. I think she feels very good. I haven't really sat down and talked with Amit at length yet. We haven't had those kind of conversations yet, but. She just went in really well prepared, and I think a lot of it too, her diet and nutrition, that had to be spot on, and her brother really took control of that, and really was a part of that process as well, and her calorie count, and all of that kind of stuff, what she could have on a day-to-day basis, and they really had it dialed in, and so it was definitely a family affair. Getting Amit ready, and obviously she performed, to a gold standard, and got us off on the right foot, and that was the biggest thing. I knew, when they said they were going to start at 68 kilos, I don't know if there was a better place for them to start for us, than to start with Amit, and so that was a good start for Team USA, and then we went on to Sarah Hildebrandt, right, and Sarah is. I think kind of the other end of the spectrum, right? She's 30 years old, roughly. I don't know exactly, but she's right around 30. She's been in this game for a long time. She's had a lot of near misses, and I think Amit brings one aspect in that's just a unbelievable talent, and then you bring Sarah Hildebrandt in, who's a great talent. But it never came together yet, right? And she was always, I thought, after her semifinal loss at the Olympics in 2021 in Tokyo, she was ahead by, I think, 3 points with like 10 seconds left, and ended up getting beat in that match, and that really stung her a lot, right? And I think at that point it would have been very easy for her to step away from the game and walk away with an Olympic bronze medal, and nobody would have said anything, right? And but she made a decision, right, to recommit herself and reinvent herself and do some things different. She said she felt like she was too much like a robot a little bit going into 2021, and if she was going to do this longer, she wanted to do it her way, right? And she wanted to have some fun and live life, and realize that you can still live life here and accomplish a task like becoming an Olympic champion. And so she, and then even the last couple of years, she fell short again, got upset in the semis a couple more times against the Mongolian girl, Dolgorjov, who she had in the semis again, and so it was a tough road, but I clearly I think the difference for Sarah was her mindset, really, and she was well prepared and mentally, and knew that the things that I think had taken her off course the last few years, she had learned how to deal with those demons, right, and put them in place, and she just had, you could tell, it was funny because coming back and then just watching the film again and watching her walk out to the mat, and man, you can tell in her body language and her eyes and everything, I mean, just that she was dialed in, right, and it didn't matter what was happening during that match. She just recentered herself and was ready to accomplish the task, and there's nobody I'm happy for than Sarah Hildebrandt, right? I mean, that, she made a decision to recommit herself year after year, made a decision to, kind of reinvent and continue to change and continue to learn and grow. And now, finally, she is an Olympic gold medalist, right? And that's a great thing. And, I think it's a great message to the rest of our development teams and our national team. That's sometimes you just have to stay the course, right? And it takes time, and everyone has their own time, right? Everyone has their own timeline, and not everyone is like Amit or Kennedy, right? Who's winning at 20 years old. Sometimes it takes a while, right? And you just stay the course and continue to believe in who you are as a human being, and good things can happen.
Right, and like you said, it'd be real easy to quit. And I mean, certainly with having an unbelievable career, like one of the best of all time, and for her to keep going and then to get the job done. And I remember hearing her interviews, it sounded like it was a lot mental for her. I mean, did you get a sense with Sarah that she seemed different, whether it be before, like coming to the Olympics, in the training, on the way, there, and then walking out, or no, it's hard to tell sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, she just... It was good all the way along, right? The last 2-3 years, we had some disappointments there, but I don't know. You could just sense it happening, right? It was coming. It was coming to a peak, and it was going to happen. And the last couple of years have been. She's just grown and grown and grown, and she's so stable and so consistent in what she does, and very committed to this task. And this year her brother came out as well, and just with really good energy. And she said it too, that you kept me centered on my values, right, and who I am as a person. And I think for sure, not only did they accomplish this task, but they had fun doing it, right? And I think that's so important. Sometimes we can make this way too much like work, right? And at the end of it, this is a game, right? This is a game that we put a lot of effort and time and energy into it, but at the end of the day, it's not everything about us, right? And I think that she had a very good and clear perspective on that going in. So.
Yeah, and that's why you can't there's no downplaying the mindset, the sports psychology aspect of it, because it's a very hard thing to balance, where you have to be basically fanatical to be at that level of success, but at the same time you have to keep it in perspective and realize it doesn't define who I am. It's just a game, and it's almost like those are two opposite things. You have to find a way to make that coexist within your personality, and no two people are the same, so it's a challenge.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that, if I could, speaking to young kids and coaches, younger coaches, I just think that the kids have to fall in love with the process, right? And if they fall in love with the process and really enjoy what they're doing, things can happen, right? And things, great things are going to happen. But if there's not that, if you never fall in love with it, right? If you never fall in love with the day-to-day of it, and just enjoy that process, and it's a hard road, right? But you have to enjoy those hard times too for what they're worth, and know that you're learning and improving from it. You just got to make decisions from those. Find the silver lining every day, right? And if you can do that, then anything is possible, right? And I think that's what Sarah did such a great job of.
Yeah, Yeah, awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah. So then we came to Dom Parrish. Dom, I thought she's 2 years ago. Well, let's go back to 2021. 2021, she was a workout partner, right, for the Olympic Games, and she came back from that. And I thought she gained a lot of experience, but it was a draining process as well. I mean, I don't think people appreciate enough what a workout partner does during the summer to prepare those athletes, right? And they're really at their beck and call for anything they need. And so it's a very draining thing. And I think in 2021, she came back from that, and we had the non-Olympic weight, or we had a full world championship in 2021 after the Olympics. And she tried out for that team, but it wasn't there. She never made the team. Didn't look that great in the trials, and really I think it was just because of the toll of the summer that put on her, right? And then all of a sudden, a year later, she makes the world team and wins a world title, right? And but I think she gained so much from that summer, but it had to have time to just process yet, right? It was like putting all the ingredients in. You got to let the dough rise, right? And I think that's how she was. And so give it some time to rise and let things sink in. And all of a sudden, come into 2022, Dom is a world champion. And then she went through some tough things just in the environment she was in, training wise, and needed to make a change. And I thought she kind of in 2023 she was off course, and I felt like she was coming back in early 2024. She started to show signs of the real Dom Parrish and what she's capable of. And at the ranking event, she had some good matches, but was still inconsistent with it. But it was coming, and so she had to qualify the weight, which wasn't an easy thing at the Pan Am Olympic qualifier in February. She qualified the weight, put herself in the final of the Olympic team trial, and then made the U.S. team, which isn't easy to do, right? And so she became an Olympian. And then I thought she had a pretty good training summer, right? But then, she came in, and first match we met Fujinami from Japan, who's arguably the pound for pound best wrestler in the world, and just wasn't there yet, right? And so we just got to go back to the drawing board. I think it's right now it's giving Dom some time to figure out what she wants to do and if she wants to tackle this again, right? And so I don't think you can rush into that, and I think that's where she's at right now, where just trying to figure that out, what is next for Dom Parrish, but make no mistake, Dom is a great competitor.
Oh yeah,
great athlete, and
she's tough,
and she's going to be back. So I expect good things from Dom, but I'm very proud of her and how she competed and how she went about her business this summer. Very professional in what she did, and really just a blessing to be around. She's a bright light for this program and this team, and everyone around her enjoys the time when they are around her. So she's very a great part of the environment when she's around.
Oh yeah, and she seems like another one who's having fun while she's doing it. I don't know her well, but from the outside, it looks like she loves to compete. She loves to wrestle. It seems like it.
The time is now to take your mindset to the next level with Wrestling Mindset. Make sure you go to our website, WrestlingMindset.com, and sign up for your free trial session today. Don't wait any longer. You want the mental edge right now. When you sign up for the free trial session, you're also going to get a copy of our free ebook, Building the Predator Mindset. This book has helped thousands of people build confidence, relax under pressure, get motivated, and build mental toughness in wrestling, school, and life. Make sure you sign up for your free trial session today.
Yeah, no, she does, and I think she enjoys the process a lot, and it shows. You don't become a world champion by accident, right? And she has the tools. We just need to continue to put them back in place, but Dom's a great talent, and so we'll see what her decision is and what she's going to do. But I hope she makes another run at it here. It'd be nice to she's from the state of California, come back home in LA in 2028 and be ready to win gold at home. So that would be a ending.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay.
So then we have Helen Maroulis, and what more can you say about Helen Maroulis that hasn't been said already, right? I mean, 3-time Olympic medalist, Olympic champion. I think next to Bruce Baumgartner, the most credentialed Olympic wrestler in American history. She continues to break records. I really felt Helen is one that for sure that she has a lot of autonomy within her training, right? And we give her a lot of freedoms because we feel that she knows what she needs, right, in her heart and how to prepare. And she did a great job this summer of getting ready and really going in. I thought, we're ready to win, right? I mean, her mindset was very dialed in. I could tell she was sure of herself. There's been times during Helen's career that, she's looking around for everyone's approval. And I felt going into this Olympics, she knew she was ready. You didn't have to give her that, And that's a sign of growth from my perspective, right? And so she looked really well. I thought that, the first period, sometimes you need to know how to stay out of their way, right? And I think maybe, if we could take that 30-second break back, and in the semifinal loss to Japan, we went into the break and she was winning the match, and I think we maybe overspoke a little bit and maybe spoke too much, and I think we should have just kind of stayed out of her way and let her be who she was. And so I think she overthought a little bit going into that second period, and then she wasn't just being herself, right? And I think it's maybe what cost us that match. But she ended up losing to Japan in that semi, and then coming back and having a 18-second match or something like that, 24-second match for third place, and got that third Olympic medal. And Helen, who knows what's going to happen? She really loves this sport, right? And really enjoys, Father Time is catching up. I mean, she's 32 years old and she's been around this game for a long time, but I'll tell you what, I don't know if she's done yet. I'm not sure. She really enjoys what she's doing, and I could see her, going on here and spending a few more years in this. I don't know if she'll make it. 2028 is a long ways away, but I think the draw of 2028 is definitely there, right? But Helen is she's meant so much, not just for this team in 2024, but women's wrestling in general within this country, right? I mean, people say what did her Olympic gold medal in 2016 mean, right? And I think it's kind of like that 4-minute mile, right? Right. Someone needed to break that barrier, right? And she broke that barrier in 2016 and gave permission to the rest of American youth to knowing that they can win gold medals here, right?
That inspired Amit. Amit speaks about that. That was, it inspired many.
It's inspired many, and so people ask, like, what influence has she had? And I said, I don't even know if we can measure it, right? I mean, the influence that Helen's made on this program is very great, and we're forever indebted to who she is as a wrestler and what she's done on the mat, and no matter how she moves forward, she'll be a great part of this program for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolute legend.
Yeah. And then we come to Kayla Miracle. Kayla Miracle, man, just a heartbreaking loss in the quarterfinals against Tunabekova of Kyrgyzstan. A 6-6 loss in that match, and then Tunabekova gets upset next round against Ukraine. But again, what I like about this whole team is just the process that they had this summer and really how they enjoyed it. And I thought that Lee Pritz did an unbelievable job in preparing and getting Kayla ready for it, not just physically. I thought physically was as good as we've ever seen her. She was wrestling, I think, as intense as we've ever seen her, and she was ready for it physically. She really was, and then just mentally, she was believing in herself and knowing that this it could happen right now, right? And so really, I think you walk away from a games when you don't get what you want, and you start thinking about, well, how did we wrestle according to what we're capable of? And I think Kayla really was at the top of her game. It just didn't happen, right?
It happens, yeah.
And sometimes this happens, but I really hope that Kayla sticks with it. I don't know if she will or not. Again, we haven't had those conversations yet, but she's definitely one of the most consistent performers we have on Team USA. And in Tokyo, I thought we were more just kind of happy to be there, right? And then in between Tokyo and Paris, she had 2 world silver medals, had some great performances at the World Championships, beat Tunabakova at the World Cup that was here in the U.S., and just had some great performances. And I think that she's right there with anyone. And I think you could roll those dice any day, and they would end up different. And she could very easily be on that top step. So very proud of her, and again a great human being to be around, and a great part of the fabric of this team and this program, and kudos to Kayla Miracle, and hopefully she can, she'll make the right decision for herself on what's going to happen. Right. But she's definitely very well respected, and we love her to death. So.
Oh yeah, and I'm not just feel like that with all of the women. It's like they're all capable of winning, and that's what makes, I think, USA women's wrestling so great, that you go through the lineup and you're like, every single one of these girls could come out on top. Whereas you really can't do that when you go through most teams or most lineups.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we've gotten to that point where when you make Team USA, you're ready. You're ready to win, right?
Right.
And you're ready to be in that mix, and so not saying that's going to happen every time, but you're ready to be there. And I like how we performed. It's one thing, you can be ready to be there and then just go out and not perform well. But I thought we performed well, right?
Yeah.
I thought we went out when it was time, when it mattered most. We stepped up and we performed, right? And so really just very proud of this whole group. And next we had Kennedy Blades, right? And Kennedy, we knew the talent that she brings to the table. We know this, right? I mean, to make the team was a very tough thing for Kennedy, knocking off Adeline Gray, who's the face, has been the face of the program, right? And 6-time world champion, Olympic silver medalist. So we knew the capabilities of Kennedy when she walked in. But it's another thing having the capabilities, and another thing doing it, right?
Right.
And it wasn't an easy run for her, right? I mean, but she had some great moments, right? I mean, in the first match against Romania, she has the iconic throw, right, that is going to go down in the history books forever, right? And we'll be seeing that picture for a long time, right? But had a great match, first match against Romania, and then second round we had Cuba, who, I don't know if people know this, but 4 weeks before the Olympics, they wrestled in Spain, and Cuba beat Kennedy by 8 points, right? And so we knew coming into that match, like, we've got to be ready. But really, it was a couple situations that cost us, and just really giving Kennedy that insight and saying, here's where her points came from, and here's what you need to be aware of. She's athletic and smart enough to make those adjustments. And really, I thought she wrestled a really not just a great defensive match, She found ways to score too, but really just tactically on how she wrestled that match against Cuba, I thought was really spot on. I was very, very proud of that match. And then in the semifinals, we wrestled Medit from Kyrgyzstan, who is coming into the tournament ranked number 1. Kennedy had wrestled her before in a ranking event and beaten her, but you know that when it comes to the Olympic semifinals, Medit's going to bring her best, right? And she did, and really Kennedy had just a gutsy match, a gritty match, right? And so it made it through that match, made it to the Olympic final, and just very proud of her on that. And then I thought in the Olympic final we just never got ourselves going, right? We just never let ourselves open up enough. I think we were maybe a little bit too concerned to what Japan was doing, and not doing what we need to do. But again, nothing taken away from Kennedy. And kudo. We'll give the credit to Japan. They wrestled a great match, and but Kennedy really, I think, showed the world who she is. And again, another 20-year-old on Team USA in the Olympic final. So. I think if you would have asked me, 3 months ago if I'll take half your team in the Olympic finals, or if we're going to be happy with that, I would say, yeah, we'd be very happy with that, right? And here we are. We had that. We had two champs, a silver and a bronze, and yet I still feel like we left something on the table, right? And so there's room for us to grow, right? And to get to that top step like we want to get to, we're going to have to find ways to improve still, because we know that Japan is not going to step back, right? And we're going to have to, like I've said before, we're going to have to climb over them, right? And we're going to have to find a way to improve and climb over them. And I think a lot of that is just believing, right? That we need to be gutsy enough to and believe that we can do it, right? But there's no doubt that I think this team realizes that they're very, very close, right? Very, very close to getting to that top step, and I think that's very motivating for all of them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's, like I said, just unbelievable. The women are just great, and the depth that we have in our country is tremendous. Like being there at the Olympic trials and being basically mat side, you see how good these girls really are. So, yeah, I mean, great stuff you're doing, Coach. I really appreciate it. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
Well, there's just so many. I think I get the credit a lot because I'm sitting in this seat, but I really want to give the credit to first our grassroots people out there at the state level. I mean, the people that have really pushed and advocated for women in this sport to have opportunities, and to now, if you go look back to 2016, we had 6 states that were sanctioned in the sport of women's high school wrestling, girls high school wrestling, and today we're at 47. I mean, that is unbelievable growth, right? We couldn't have drawn that up any better. So, kudos to all the people out there that doing the works, the leaders within each state, the coaches within each state, the coaches in those communities that are opening up opportunities in their clubs and their programs for girls to join and be a part of this great sport. I just want to thank all of them for that, because without them, we don't get to where we're at right now. Right, and we don't have the opportunity to climb higher without that, and so we have that at the state level, and then we also, at the collegiate level, right? That we've went from, again, in 2016 we had about 45 college programs. Now we have over 175, right? And we're just getting to that championship status at the NCAA level. We have it at the NAIA level. We have it at the National Junior College level. So we have a few more steps there, and we got some roadblocks in the way that we got to get through, some obstacles. But there's no doubt that I think that we have a task force that is hitting that square on the head, and we're getting that accomplished. So there's just so much thanks to so many people and moving this sport forward in America, and it's a great thing to be a part of right now, and we have a lot to be excited about as we move forward. And hopefully this can be our quad, right? And we've had a great quad the last, from Tokyo to here. We had some great performances at our World Championships and both Olympic Games, and hopefully we can continue that on during this next quad and come into LA, blazing fire, right? And that's the goal right now. But I know that we have the athletes within this program at all levels. I just encourage everyone to continue to focus on the day-to-day and focus on the process of winning, right? And let's fall in love with that and do the right things there, and the winning will take care of itself if we just focus on everything along the way. And that's not just technically and tactically, and not just physically, but also mentally, right? We need to believe, we need to know that these things are possible, right? And I think when we start down this road, the Olympic gold medal seems like an unsurmountable task, right? But really, it's a product of making the right decisions and doing the right things on a day-to-day basis, right? And when you put enough days together and enough weeks together and enough months together and enough years together, all of a sudden you find yourself where Sarah Hildebrandt is right now as an Olympic champion, right? And that just comes with a commitment every day to do the right thing. And so I encourage all of our youth out there to take a real close look at your Olympians that have had a great performance in front of you. Take a real close look at how they go about their day-to-day business, right? And I think you'll find that there's a pathway for you as well. So,
absolutely. Thank you very much, Coach. We're all behind you, and thank you for all you do for USA Wrestling. And also, got to say, my brother Jeff and I thank you for bringing us in years ago, kind of helping us get our start, get more notoriety out in the wrestling world. We don't forget about that. So thank you for all you've done for us and for USA Wrestling. And tell all the girls we're real proud of them.
Yeah, well, like I've always said, I think together we're better, right? Together, if we're all working together and bringing all of our, our tasks and our skill sets together, we give our athletes the best chance to succeed. And so when we don't care who gets the credit, that's the best thing. And let's give the glory to God and go from there, and we'll be led in the right direction.
Amen. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it.
All right, you bet. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.